Hey friends, welcome back to my podcast. Today we are going to jump straight in. I don't have any announcements or anything. We're just going to get right to it. I also promised Jason that I was not going to take 7 hours, but you guys know how I like to ramble. We're going to talk about the continuation of my health journey. And I thought this would be a really helpful episode because I love to see people's step-by-step transformations. So it's really interesting sometimes and fun to watch somebody who's gone through something really dramatic. They lost 100 pounds, they started running marathons, or, they went from nothing to big, or, these big dramatic transitions. Even people who are just like, I went from I had no energy to now I feel amazing. And we go, what did you do? I want to know what you did. How did you do this? But a lot of times it's not one big drastic thing. A lot of times it's a bunch of little tiny things. And so that's what I'm really feeling right now. I'm feeling some really dramatic shifts, but it's really small stuff. So I'm like losing track of all time now. In the last couple of months, I've shared that I've been really working on my health, that I've been wanting to work on my health. You guys should go back and listen to the episode where I talk about function health, and I got all my blood work done, which was really eye-opening. And since then, I have really been working on just very slowly adding some things into my day. We are in a really busy season right now. There's a lot going on and a lot that's vying for my attention. And so I really have felt like I've not been capable of jumping into something really intense, but I've really been needing help. So baby number 8 is actually almost a year old. Next month in August, he's going to be 1 year old. And I have definitely just felt off since having him. I felt like I've just had a lot of low energy, but around January, it kind of started getting worse. I was getting just more and more tired, more and more feeling like I am struggling just to get things done. And then just a few little health things, nothing like major, but just really feeling like I'm not on the top of my game. And with 8 kids, homeschooling, running a business with Jason, I need to be on top of my game. I need the most energy that I possibly can have to handle all the things. And I really wasn't feeling it. Then, of course, in April, for those of you guys who follow along know, our poor, sweet little Radley, baby number 8, got really severely burned on his arm. We spent 8 days in the hospital. He had to have skin grafts and surgery and all the things. And of course, through that, my health just utterly tanked. My cortisol went through the roof. I mean, anytime you go through intense stress like that, your hormones get all off. Everything is just crazy, right? And then right after the hospital is when I got all my blood work back and all of the recommendations and all the stuff. And so there was definitely some things, you can go back and listen to that episode, some things to work on. And so I have really slowly been just dipping my toes in because since then we have moved, we are settling into a new church in a new area and just all the things and really, really intense work stuff, really trying to wrap up some projects before the fall starts. So just a lot. And I felt like I couldn't do one of these massive things of like, I'm overhauling everything I eat and I'm starting to exercise 12 hours a day. And, it was not the season for dramatic change. And I was like, but I was sick of being so tired and feeling like I need to turn some things around. And so I've started just with some really small things that have had some really big impact. And that's just what I want to share today. I want to share a couple of these things that are really working, but for me right now, actually like the biggest thing that is making an impact is that I'm taking all of this as my health journey. I'm taking it slow. And in the past, I've kind of wanted to rush things because when you feel terrible, when you want to lose weight, when you want to get more energy back, you want to go fast. You want to do it right now. And so in the past, I've kind of been looking for more like faster, dramatic, like I want to get this done. And so I've jumped too many times into like meal plans that were ridiculous. We did Whole30 way back, like at least a decade ago when we were much more new to like changing things over in our diets. And like, I was trying to follow like someone else's like put together Whole30 meal plan. And I remember like, I was so in over my head with it. Like it was so time intensive. It was so ridiculous. And there are times where, you know, there's intense things that need to happen. I've shared the story. My son had leaky gut and we had to put him on like an extremely rigorous diet, super restrictive. Like it was kind of crazy, but we had to do it, you know? So there's times for that. But I've been feeling right now that if I tried to do anything too big, too dramatic, too drastic, then I wasn't going to stick with it. There was no way. So what I've been doing is I'm not worrying about how long it takes me to get to my health goals. I am the heaviest that I have ever been, which I don't love, but that's not even my focus. Like, yes, I would love to lose the baby weight. I'd love to be able to fit into my old clothing. I'd love to be able to just feel a little better, but I want to have more energy. Internally, I want to feel better. That's my biggest goal. So I'm not stepping on the scale, although I do feel my body starting to change and I'm really thankful for that. But I'm judging it off of how I'm feeling. So I want to feel more energetic. I want to feel, because if I have more energy, then I'm going to get outside and go walking more and I'm going to do these things. So I'm not stepping on a scale at all. I'm not even concerned about the weight loss yet. If we head into the fall and I'm still really holding on to the weight, then I'm going to do some things to tweak and figure out. But right now, I want to heal my body. I want to work on things internally. So one of the biggest things that I've known that I need to work on is my gut health. My gut health has been absolutely obliterated. I had 3 rounds of antibiotics in 6 months, which is not what you want to do. And with my blood work coming back, my ferritin levels, my iron was extremely, extremely low. And so I started really digging into iron. You can go back and listen to that function episode. I won't repeat it all. But with researching iron, none of the markers really matched for me on why my ferritin would be like constantly low. So yes, you can take ferritin, you can go get some blood transfusions, but if you're not addressing the root of why your ferritin is so low, it's just going to keep happening. Like you're just putting a Band-Aid on it at that point. Plus, blood transfusion, iron transfusions in this area are like $350 per infusion. And I would need like 7 or something crazy. So there's things you can do, but I want to fix it. I want to fix why is my ferritin so low? And sadly, ferritin is one of those that is very, very, very difficult to raise. It's not like vitamin D where it's like, just take a bunch of vitamin D and your number will come right up. It can be really difficult. And so in doing research, what it really came back to for me was my gut health. And so if you have extremely bad, poor gut health, it can absolutely affect your ferritin levels. And I have really felt also like I've had a very difficult time absorbing nutrients. And so when I went through my real big health crisis after baby number 5 was born, one of my, and that was like, this was just like, I need more energy. That was like, I couldn't function at all on a human level. One of the things though, is that I was not absorbing water. And so I would drink water and just like pee it out immediately. And I was chronically dehydrated, even though I was drinking a ton of water. And so I know that my body kind of can just tend to have that tendency, I think, of not absorbing things well. And so I've not been absorbing iron well for some reason. And so I feel like there's other nutrients there that I am probably not absorbing well. And so much of that comes back to our gut. And then obviously having 3 rounds of antibiotics in 6 months. And then the reason I had those antibiotics is because I got kidney stones and got infections. I got kidney infections from the kidney stones. And yet my body has been on like a hair trigger to want to go to infection mode. And that is like 125% the fact that my gut is absolutely wiped out and not doing well. And so all of these symptoms and stuff, I'm like, it's my gut, which I think all of us in Western society probably need major help with our gut. I have been diving into like extreme gut, like extreme gut research lately, and it's been amazing to see. So there is, okay, I don't have all the notes in front of me, so forgive me for just like chatting and not having all the data in front of me. But there is a particular strain of good bacteria in our bodies that is a very, very rare strain. So it's very difficult to get just from like normal foods. And so if you've even ever had in your life 1 round of antibiotics, that particular strain is completely wiped out of your body. And it doesn't just like come back unless you're ingesting that specific strain, which you can get from certain forms of yogurt, but it's not like any yogurt from the store. It's like a specific one you make at home. Yes, we will talk about that further if you guys want to in future stuff. I mean, we're going to have some resources on cultured foods coming up because it's already been a passion of mine, but now that passion I see was like a 1% level and I'm at like 90% now. How excited I've been because it's been making such big change. So like, it's one of those that like in our Western culture with our non-traditional diet, with our American diet, we do not eat cultured and fermented foods at all. So yes, you can get some yogurt from the store that's got maybe some probiotics in it, but if they've done studies, they've done testing on these probiotic yogurts that are in the store, and not all of them even have probiotics, but the good ones that do, a lot of times by the time they've been sitting on the shelf for that long, most of the probiotics have died off and it's not even present in there anymore. And so most of us are not eating real probiotic pickles. We're eating the dead ones on the shelf. And other than that, we're not getting even our sauerkraut now, which should be a live probiotic, amazing fermented food, is completely dead. And so we should be eating with every meal, we should be having fermented food. And that sounds completely overwhelming when you're not already in the habit of doing that. And so anyway, there's just so much stuff. So that has been my biggest thing right now is figuring out how do I get more fermented foods into my diet. My eventual goal throughout this next year, I have no goals on it. I have no timeline, anything. Throughout this next year is to have 5 fermented foods a day for me and my family. And that means making them because real fermented foods, you know, the only place you can get really good ones is to go to Whole Foods, to go to Sprouts. They've got, for example, there's the Good Culture cottage cheese, which is a really great brand. They've got good probiotics in it, but it's like $6 for this little tiny, I mean, like maybe 2 servings. That's not going to cut it for my family. So we're starting to make, and our family loves cottage cheese. There's so many things we do with cottage cheese. So I'm starting to make my own cultured cottage cheese, and it's super easy and it's so affordable. So that's the plan, is over the next year is I know how to make all these. I can make any of these probiotic fermented items, even if I haven't made that specific item. I am so familiar enough with fermented and cultured dairy and vegetables and things that I could make any of these. However, that's different than actually making it to have every single day. And that's what I've struggled with, is getting into that consistent rhythm of just having it all the time. So for a long time, for several years, we'd make a whole gallon of homemade yogurt every single week. And we just, through having the baby and moving 17 times and all the stuff we've done this year, totally got out of the habit of it. So we're back into we're actually making 2 gallons a week. Every couple of days, we're making a whole gallon of yogurt. It just becomes such a good probiotic, protein-rich thing for my kids to be able to eat. And they just love it. Like homemade yogurt is so good. And it's really hard to buy really good probiotic yogurt that's a full fat yogurt. They're really, really hard to find, or they're just crazy expensive. So for $3, I can make an entire gallon of probiotic whole milk yogurt. Yes, please. So we've got that going. That's super easy. I actually have yogurt right now on the countertop that is coming back down to temperature. So I need to hurry this up so I don't have it dip below 110. And then, so the biggest thing, number 1, all of that preamble to say, and I told you I wasn't going to ramble forever, but you guys get me talking on the subject that I love. Number 1 thing that I have been doing that has had massive, like, can I be like ridiculously dramatic for a minute because it's that dramatic? Massive implications, ramifications, whatever, for my life is I have been drinking a kefir smoothie every single morning. And it started out, I actually had done kefir a month or 2 ago, and long story short, I dumped the kefir grains down the sink, and a split second later went, oh my gosh, it was a bad moment. So while I was waiting to get my kefir fermenting again, I was using store-bought kefir, and I was like, well, I'll just use this for the time being, even though it's actually really, really expensive if you're drinking it. I'm doing 2 cups a day right now. So I started on that, and then a friend from church was able to give me new kefir grains, and I was like, yes. So I got that started, and I had to start slow because it was kind of sluggish, and I've been building it up. And I was on the store-bought kefir for about a week. And I was like, okay, I like this breakfast. It's got a ton of protein in it. This has been like feeling really good, and I really like drinking it. Well, then I switched to the homemade kefir, and it was like, for the first week, I just was like, I just kept thinking I really like this. And then all of a sudden, I started realizing I was not having the afternoon crashes. I was so much more energetic. I was sleeping better. I mean, everything. My body started changing. Absolutely. I haven't been weighing myself, but I definitely have felt like my waist is slimming down. And I'm like, this is and digestion, everything. Like, it has been dramatic. And it's only been a month ish that I have been doing this consistently, and like I have not missed a single day. Starting off with that amount of protein has made me realize how much I wasn't eating in the morning. It's just been really, really dramatic. So the recipe I've been using is from Trim Healthy Mama. You can search, it's called Charlie's Gut Healing Smoothie. And so I've basically been following that. I do 2 full cups of kefir because I want to get as much kefir into me as I can right now. It's a bunch of frozen berries. I'm using like this really good mix that's got some cherries in it and blueberries and a little bit of kale, and some strawberries. And then I'm doing a tablespoon of whole psyllium flakes, and then 2 tablespoons of baobab powder. Baobab powder is like an absolutely incredible fiber prebiotic. I mean, it is amazing. I mean, it's an absolute incredible superfood. So I've been doing two tablespoons of that. And then I have been doing a full serving of protein powder. So it's 21 grams of protein. So it's getting and then kefir's got, maybe it's like 12, it's like 6 grams per cup. Maybe it's like 12. I'm getting 12 additional grams. So I'm getting a good at least 30-ish, if not more, grams of protein every morning. And it's been amazing. And a lot of that is the kefir. Now, my digestive system absolutely did have to adjust. People say especially if your gut is really obliterated, you have to adjust to a homemade kefir. And so first couple of days, the first day my stomach was cramping, gas, all of that, major. And I was like, okay, this is the kefir, but it means it's really good. So some people who are smarter than me will do just 2 tablespoons of homemade kefir and then a 4th cup and then a 1/2 cup and work their way up. I was like, no, I'm doing 2 cups a day. I'm just going to get used to this. So the first week, my system was definitely digestively, took some getting used to. Jason and one of my sons who's having a few little gut issues, I started both of them on 2 cups also a day while I've been waiting to get my production up of it. They did fine. They had absolutely nothing, whatever. So I think if your gut is really, really obliterated, that could be because all the good bacteria is starting to take over and all the bad bacteria is dying off. And that definitely can give you symptoms. So if that happens, it's not a bad thing. It's not that you're allergic to the kefir or anything. It's actually a really good thing. And I just powered through. And now the kefir has been amazing. But homemade kefir really is drastically different. So homemade kefir has up to 50 to 56 different strains of probiotics, and the probiotic amounts are in the billions. Store-bought kefir on the bottle says it has 12 to 15 strains. However, in the testing that they have done, most of any store-bought brand, even the good ones, actually only have 2 to 3 strains present by the time they're tested off the shelf. So juxtaposed to 50 different strains, it's absolutely incredible. So kefir is by far the number one. If you're going to make a fermented food, you don't want to do 5 a day, that's fine. Kefir is the one to do. It's amazing. And kefir is also one of the easiest ones. You just put the kefir grains in a jar with fresh milk and you let it sit on your counter for 24 hours. 24 to 36. Our house has been warm, so I don't need longer than 24 hours. Anyway, then you can do a second ferment. There's other things we could talk about because I have been nerdy so much into fermented stuff lately. But it's been amazing. It has been my energy is night and day difference. I will never stop drinking this kefir smoothie for breakfast. So that's the first thing I've been doing. That's and it's delicious. I look forward to drinking it every morning, and I make a big quart size. I make it giant, and I love it. So my goal right now is to my kefir grains are still the kefir grains take a long time to multiply and to grow. And so it's not like yogurt where you could just make as big a batch as you want every single time. You have to really let it grow. So I'm up to making 1/2 gallon a day. And it's not enough because I want to get to the point where like everybody in the family is having 2 cups a day. So I really need to make more like a gallon a day. And I'm just kind of waiting for that production to get up. Okay, number 2, I told Jason I wasn't going to talk forever. Number 2 is I'm focusing on movement every day, but I'm doing it gently. I am not naturally super great with like fitness and exercise and all the things. I walk a ton. Like I easily just in my normal day, easily hit 10K steps, often like 15K steps just from like taking care of the house and the kids and doing stuff. So I do walk a lot, which I think has been very helpful in my life for my health, but I'm wanting to focus more on strength training and weightlifting and really kind of heading into that next phase of my life. I just got finished reading the book Trim Healthy Wisdom. It is phenomenal. If you're perimenopause, menopause, which I'm not there yet, but I'm looking ahead for the future. And even not being in perimenopause yet, it had so many great tips and stuff. And the whole second part of the book, they're talking about exercise and the exercises that are good for our bones and as we age. And it's all stuff that I want to implement now and also be aware of as I head into my 40s and beyond. So it's an overwhelming book. It's like 950 pages. There's a lot, like there's so much from the book I want to implement, but I'm doing it like little by little. So what I am doing right now is focusing on 3 to 4 times a week, getting out and doing long walks with the kids, like 2+ miles, like getting out and walking fast, like really like this is exercise, not just a leisurely stroll. So we've been doing that really well until we've had like a crazy heat wave the last 2 weeks. And it's been way too hot, like 85 degrees when you first wake up in the morning, humid. So this next week looks like it's going to be a lot cooler. Today was way cooler. I could have gone walking today. We're going to get that back into the schedule. And then the second thing now that I'm going to be beginning is Nourish, Move, Love. They have a 20-minute like beginner workout series. And I think it's like 30 days, something like that. I'm starting it tomorrow. And I have just finished again, I've done this several times, finally just finished again her postpartum workout series, which doesn't really matter how long you are postpartum. Do it because it's got really good core stuff in there for your pelvic floor. It is just phenomenal. That's why I've gone through it several times because it's amazing. So I'm ready for something different though. I'm going to do her 20-minute like strength training workouts and I'm really excited for that. And then the other new thing that I'm starting, thanks to Trim Healthy Wisdom, is rebounding. And that's where you just it's the fancy word for having a little trampoline, little, exercise one, and doing different workouts on that. But the statistics, the studies that they're doing on rebounding is incredible. I hate cardio. I am not going to go jogging or running. Like, no, never in my life, even as a teenager, absolutely hate running. And rebounding is showing that like a 15-minute rebounding session is more cardio, is better for your heart than a 30-minute jog session. And I'm like, I can do rebounding. So it's just, there's this statistics and rebounding is amazing on your bones. It's actually incredible for your pelvic floor. There is so much studies done. There's so many studies done on rebounding and there's so much information coming out about it that I'm really excited because I'm like, I can do this. So I ordered a super cheap, like $20, $30 little trampoline off of Amazon. You can get like the really nice fitness ones for like $300. And I'm just getting the cheap one. And I have the cheap one. I already ordered it, but eventually maybe I'll get like one of the nice workout ones. But for now, I'm going to do this and I'm going to start following Trim Healthy Mama has rebounding sessions that you can follow along with. And so now that we're through the heat wave, that's the next thing that I'm going to be trying to incorporate in. And I'm going to do these slow because that's what I need to do. Okay. I don't know if that's picking up, but our neighbor is outside sawing something. And so if you hear a weird noise, that's what he's doing. They're renovating their RV. And so they're out there working on stuff. All right. And then the last thing I'm doing right now for my health, and I think this has been going hand in hand with the kefir smoothies, is following Trim Healthy Mama meals once again. I've done Trim Healthy Mama on and off for years. I love their recipes. I just pull from their recipes for our family. But I'm finally doing full THM for myself. And I'm not being crazy on it yet. So I'm following the meals. I'm pulling them. For tonight, I had a huge S salad. I had salmon on it, and I had hard-boiled eggs and olives and mozzarella, and it was amazing. I had an e-meal, an e-soup for lunch. So like I'm following the meals, but I'm not super stressed. Like I said, I'm not stressed about what the scale is doing. Like I want to nourish my body right now. I want to make sure that I am taking in good food. One of the things I'm learning with this new like kefir smoothie and my focus on protein, I have not been eating enough. I've absolutely not been eating enough. And I know that, but I'm seeing my metabolism rebound in ways that I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm waking up hungry again. This is fantastic. Like I'm really, I was using coffee, and I've always known this. I drink too much coffee in the morning, and then I delay having breakfast because the coffee kind of fills me up, even though it's not. And then I don't eat till way later, and it's just bad systems. And so focusing on that protein first thing in the morning in a smoothie that I enjoy so much just has kicked off my eating for the rest of the day. And it's been amazing. Like I think the kefir smoothie in conjunction then with the fact that the rest of my meals have been really good has been awesome. So I'm focusing on the way that I'm doing it right now to make it super easy is once a week, I am cooking a large batch of soup or a large, like I did this like cauliflower rice, ground beef, like hash with a bunch of stuff in it. And I'm making enough for like 5 or 6 servings and then putting them in the fridge. So last week I did like that big cauliflower rice hash. And then I did, what was the other thing I did? Like a chicken thing or something? Anyway, I made a second meal. And so I just made 2 meals. And I made big old quantities of them and put them in the fridge. So yes, I'm eating the exact same thing every day. Kefir smoothie in the morning, the hash for lunch, whatever the other thing was, the soup for dinner, and I'm eating that every single day of the week. Yes, it's a little bit boring. However, I do not have the capacity or the time in my life right now to make fresh meals for myself every single day and to actually stay on it. In fact, in between the last 2 weeks, I had gone grocery shopping and then I didn't have time to do cooking. So I had a day in between where I was going to do the cooking, but I didn't have anything. Like I got to lunch and I didn't have anything prepared. And I was like, I don't know what to eat. And that's where you just reach for crap. Or I'm like, oh, I'll just eat what the kids are having. And so that's where it was like totally like, oh, this is why I've been making these meals ahead of time. This is what is actually making such a big difference for me. So it's boring, but it's so simple. It's so easy. I'm not reinventing the wheel and making a huge, big new meal plan every single day. It's allowing me to find the meals that I really like, kind of put them on repeat. I'm doing a lot more fish. My blood work came back that I was extremely low in omega-3s. And so I've been focusing on like a lot more salmon, having salmon several times a week. I'm really trying right now to focus on how can I get the nutrients that I need from actual food. So my probiotics from the kefir, omega-3s from actual salmon. I love supplements. I think there's a time and place for supplements, but supplements are not going to work as well most of the time as if you're getting those nutrients from your real food. And that's certainly the case for probiotics. You're never going to be able to supplement with probiotics in a way that you would be able to when you're just getting the nutrients from food. And then also part of it is with me incorporating several different probiotic foods into my diet, I'm getting the strains and the bioavailability and the diversity that I would not be able to unless I was buying 8 different probiotic supplements a month. And the good probiotic supplements are at least $50 a month. And so a month. And so I'm like, you might as well make kefir and like get an amazing smoothie out of it, right? And then it allows me, because I'm not buying a ton of these extra supplements, I'm able to buy the boabab powder that I'm putting into my smoothie. It's not very expensive at all. It's like $15 maybe for a bag. And that lasts like a decent amount of time. And so it's allowing me to kind of be like, okay, I'm going to buy the salmon because it's expensive, but it's giving me how many servings and I'm getting the actual good food. And then I'm getting really good meals too. So I think in our culture, we tend to just be very supplement happy. Like, oh, there's a supplement. That's the easy button. I'm going to pick it. But it's the more expensive button. And often it just doesn't work as well. It's not going to work as well as getting the actual thing. So I will update you guys as I'm continuing. This doesn't even sound that impressive. I drink a kefir smoothie. I'm focusing on movement. I'm following THM. Woo! But the small little changes are the ones that matter. The changes that matter are the ones that you're going to stay consistent with. The changes that matter are the ones you actually are going to do. It doesn't matter if you have this great grand plan and do it for one day and fall off. What matters is the consistency in the small little things. So am I doing as much as I want to do? No. Am I doing any things that are as grand or as exciting? No. But these little small daily consistent things are making a difference. If I had made one kefir smoothie one morning and never made it again, it wouldn't have done anything for my health. But the consistency, the overtime of laying that base in my gut, of really bringing that gut back to life, it's going to have really big implications, even on my iron and my omega-3s and being able to pull nutrients out of food, let alone everything else that the gut impacts. So those are the things I'm working on. I will update you guys probably in the fall. Hopefully, Lord willing, I stay consistent on these small little things, and I will have more to share on that. I would love to hear from you guys. If you can find me on Instagram, come share, what are the things that you're doing? What are you working on? What are the small little things that you're seeing noticeable differences? What are the things you look back over 6 months and go, oh, wait a minute, that's making a difference. What are those things? Come share. All right, ladies, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys back here next week for the next episode.